So before we wrap up, I want to
Mhm.
address how do you create space for rest or reflection in your, because it can be so busy and your time can be demanded by 10 different folks at any given time. So how do you do that?
So I'm really bad at this. And you've probably spoken, Sumit, with a lot of entrepreneurs who are very bad at this, right? And that's why you ask this question. And again, another trap question. But to be frank, I am really bad at this. And it's a thing that this year and last year have really started to hammer it more into me. So I have two kids and one on the way. I have a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 0-year-old. And my wife works and I work and I run a business. So I have a lot on my plate right now. And
Mm,
one of the things that has forced me to create space is my 3-year-old daughter. I have put her to bed every night since COVID, and I
mm,
have read her stories. I spend at least 30 to 45 minutes a night with my daughter, reading her stories, talking to her, asking her how her day has gone, and focusing on that relationship. And same thing with my son, who's getting to the point to where he's old enough to start having these conversations. So my kids have forced me to make space because my kids are always what's most important to me in my life, right? That's my
mm,
legacy. These are the human beings that I am responsible for. And I have to turn them into productive people, right? It's my job. It's nobody else's, my wife's job too. It's both of our jobs, but you get what I'm saying. Like my responsibility to my kids are to ensure that they are growing up in an environment that helps them be better people and to have the empathy, the emotional intelligence, and just generally the good naturedness that
mm,
I want to see in the world. What I want to see in the world is people that are more agreeable and that just work together better as opposed to the sort of divisive nature of how humanity is right now. And so that has forced me to have that space. But prior to my kids, I was extraordinarily bad at this, right? I
mm,
would spend literally, I would be up until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time working on things, anything
mm,
from client work to having sales pitches to developing the next career framework that we're supposed to have. And all these things wore me out to the point that I did burn out at one point. I think around 2021 ish, around there,
mm,
we grew by 350%. I took literally 120 interviews in the span of 3 weeks trying to hire people. And I was the person that was doing a lot of these interviews. And that was stupid of me. But I did it because I had such an ownership and I was just so obsessed with I have to hire the right people. I have to hire the right people. And so that burnout really reset me as well and said, dude, you need to stop. You need to find people that you can delegate to that can execute on these needs. And
mm,
luckily now in 2023, I have my team. I have Alyssa, Sarah, and Alan, and they're the three folks that I'm spending all of my time with to help pour the vision out of what the company's supposed to do, help them focus on what our goals are and what our targets are, and grow them into the next level leaders
mm.
that they need to be, while all the same telling them you need to rest, right?
Yeah.
Don't do what I did. Don't obsess. And again, entrepreneurs out there, it's your baby. I get it. You
Yeah.
want it to succeed and you have this relentless obsession with this idea that you came up with. And that's amazing and that's special, but it's not worth your life. It's not worth your health. I gained 30 pounds over the past
Mm,
2 years, and that's not good. I need to get myself into better shape. I need to focus on my own mental health, which is a thing that a lot of our entrepreneurs don't focus on. And I think that's a huge trap. You need to focus on your mental health. And you probably heard this through 1,000 people and 1,000 books, but I'm here to tell you burnout sucks. It puts
mm,
you in a position where you make bad decisions and you do bad things. So focusing on myself is a theme that 2023 has forced upon me through having those two kids and a few health issues that I'm working through. Like all of that together has put the brakes on 7 Factors growth and put me in a position where I have to focus on myself. And that's a good thing, right? Life has
yeah.
created this channel for me to rest for a minute. And into 2024, I'm going to be carrying these values with me to try and make that space
Mm.
for my family, for myself, and for my own mental health.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I think I want to commend you on like how beautiful that is, like what you shared about your daughter, putting her
Mm.
to bed every day, every night, especially given everything that you shared earlier about part time or facing some challenges on the sales front. That's what makes life meaningful.
Yep.
And I'm glad that you have been able to balance that. At the same time, like this is not for everybody. And what you shared, it's 3 year, 1 year old, and then another on the way. Like you have your hands full. Yeah. So thank you for opening up about that. I think that makes
Mm.
us human rather than what you shared earlier, putting a persona of I have everything under control, that makes
Yeah.
us human and that makes us better as leaders. And I think your leadership team, as you mentioned, will also thank you to share about this with them because it will set the right example rather than just try to be a hero to everybody, which
Right.
like over the long term never works. So thank you for adding that. I can't appreciate or I can't say how much I appreciate that and how much that matters in
Mhm.
like we talk about sales, we talk about all of these like fancy leadership business things, but these simple things sometimes matter most in like how we relate to people, how we connect, how we build those relationships that can eventually lead to more sales or more of that growth. So thank you for
Uh,
sharing that.
100%. And I think that the biggest takeaway is genuineness is more important than
Mhm.
anything because
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town where my dad knew everybody, I knew everybody, and you'd walk into the grocery store and 5 people you knew. Like that's that sort of connection, that genuine connection
Mm.
between other human beings, to me is what really creates value, right? From it doesn't matter what your firm does. It
Mm.
doesn't matter what your product does. If you have a genuine connection with other human beings, then you can produce something from that, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, I am who I am. This is who I am. If people don't
Yeah.
like me, cool. There are 1,000 other people out there you can go talk to, but to me, like my mission in life is to build other good human beings, not just to build
Mm.
a company that creates value for clients, but to show people that if you all just talk to one another and
Yeah.
communicate and focus on what you're trying to accomplish as a team, you'll probably be more productive
Mm.
than if you were to just go at odds and do the whole toxic department versus department nonsense. But thank you for having me
Ye-
on, by the way. I appreciate
Yes.
the opportunity